Okay folks, this is my re-recording of the Texturing 5 lecture. This is covering the production of the specular map, which, continuing our discussion of material textures, we have our color map, which is just what color is it. We just finished our bump map, which is defining roughness, and then now we're talking about how shiny something is. So those are our three material channels that we've been working with, and so today we're going to create that last one, a specular channel, specular color map. And unlike our bump map, we do use our black and white scale, but we start at 0 and go towards 100 fully, as opposed to with our bump maps we started at 50% and worked our way up and down from white to black. Alright, so we are we're gonna make a specular map today, which again starts at black and then works its way up to fully shiny at white. Keep in mind that this is where your material type matters, as Lambert materials will not contain a specular color channel, which is where you input your spec map, because Lamberts are matte materials, M-A-T-T-E, whereas we want blends because they are shiny. Now, how shiny they are is what we are controlling for with our spec map. So anywhere on a spec map texture, black will define that that area is not shiny, whereas white will define that area as shiny. So we are again going to be starting from our base Cinderblock texture, our base diffuse texture. So conceptually, we want to use our information of black being not shiny and white being very shiny, but we will actually be running a procedural filter, just like sort of like what we did with the bump map, to get our desired result. We just have to be mindful of how our tool is used and what the output is. So again, we're trying to keep in mind that white is shiny, black is dull, and keep in mind we're talking about a cinder block. So cinder block's not very shiny. So how do we do this and where does it go? So let's start with making it. We're going to be using desaturate first to get rid of color. Typically you don't want to have color in your reflectivity. There are obviously some exceptions to this, but for what we're doing at the level we're at, mostly you just want to keep color out of your spec map. So we're going to start with desaturating it, and then we're going to use our good friend, the levels, to help us change the contrast in our image to get the result that we want. So let's start with this first one. So open the image, and then image menu, adjustments, desaturate. So let's just make it black and white. Image, adjustments, desaturate. And that's it. So now it's just grayscale rock. Cool. What's the next step? We're going to grab a levels. Okay, so adjustments panel, grab a levels, and so here we go. Let me do that. Okay, so what do we tweak on my levels? Well, again, we said that this was a rather non-shiny object, so we're going to use black for dull and white for shiny. So that means here I want this to have lots of black tones. Okay, I do want a little bit of pure white in there. Not a ton though. Mostly black. And so that alone will make it very shiny. So this is before. This is after. So we have lots of dark tones in there to make it not shiny in a lot of spots. And then if you can imagine just tiny little pieces of gravel in there that are of that can catch little flecks of light and reflect them. So that's basically what we're doing. So here's where it came in. You can see, boom, desaturate, mess with your levels. There you have it. So just like with our bump map, we'll do File, Save as. Make sure we choose a Targa file. You're going to also make sure that when you save this out, use the right nomenclature. So at the end, I'm going to add _s. Targa, save. 24 bits per pixel. Great. And that brings us to back to Maya. And we'll go ahead and go into our material attributes. This is where you would change from a blend to a Lambert if you use the wrong material. When you have your blend, you'll see specular color. We'll assign a file node, just like we would anything else. One on the other monitor. There we go. And then find my spec and open it up. Why is this flickering? So you can see here it's catching some of the light. You can see some of these bright spots on my rock. And so when you submit this, you should be giving me your Cinderblock as well as, not the can, pardon me. So you should give me, you don't need to give me back the Cinderblock texture. I've already got that. You'll be giving me your bump map and your spec map along with your Cinderblock. All things are good. Should open up, connect it all up. So thank you for watching the redo of my demo on spec maps. Again, specular maps start at black for no shiny, white to shiny, and there you have it. There's our third method of texturing. So now we have what color is it, how rough is it, how shiny is it. All right, thank you for watching.